Hi, Geminis, and welcome to your Tarology 33 reading for January 2019. We have a Celtic cross spread in front of us, which is normally 10 cards, but you do get some extra cards. Some of them actually cards that I recognize from your December reading as well, so might be some continuing themes going on there. And you got an extra Oracle card. Then there's actually a couple of other new things that I'm going to be incorporating to the readings too, but we'll get to that towards the end. So for now, let's just get right in with the spread, because like I said, we have a lot of cards to look at. Oh, actually, before I forget too, though, thank you for having the most likes, views, and new subscribers for the December videos. And as a thank you for that, I'm going to be doing a bonus video for you guys at some point. It should come out not right around the same time as the general reading, maybe within a week or so after that. All right. Yeah, let's get started. In the main situation position, we have two cards. We have the Nine of Cups, and we have the Ace of Cups. So, the way this could be playing out to me when I'm looking at these two cards in combination is that, you might feel that you're really close to something. Some people refer to this as the wish fulfillment card. Doesn't necessarily have to mean that, though. It could just be saying that you're close to a goal of yours right now. And if we look at the person's face, you could look at it one of two ways. It could be saying that they're in a position where they know what they bring to the table, so they're comfortable in their own skin, and they're like, you know what, I'm going to let things come to me, and I'll decide if I want them or not from there, rather than going out and pursuing those things. But just be careful not to let it get to a point where you're coming strictly out of ego about it either. That's what I always give as a warning with this card, because if we look at that person's face, it could come either way. Just the body language too, right? Because sometimes that can, if you take it too far to the extreme, it could also block things from coming towards you, because those people might feel like, oh, all right, well, this person has everything they need already, apparently, so what do I have to offer, right? And then with the second card there, the Ace of Cups, typically, I don't view this necessarily as something tangibly being offered. I would usually view that more as the Page of Cups. To me, this is more of an idea. So this could be saying that this is you thinking about, okay, I have 9 cups. What do I need to do to get that 10th cup, right? Or this could be someone thinking about, okay, well, I see this person has a lot, but, maybe I could extend an offer to them to, take them to an even higher level. So that could be what's going on there. And on a more mundane level, this could just mean that a love offer is made to you. Maybe because you're doing well now, people see that. You know how it goes. When things are going well for you, you tend to put off that vibe that other people are drawn to. And, maybe they see, oh, well, you're doing well right now, and now they want to come around. You know how that goes. But could be what that is. But I really feel like this is more you thinking about, okay, I'm close to where I want to be. How do I get to that next level? So for most of you, I think that it's going to be more of an internalized thing. But we'll see as we go along in the spread. In the challenger obstacle position, we have the Knight of Swords card. So this is technically a court card for Gemini. So the first thing that I thought of when I saw this was getting in your own way, potentially. And especially because I think you're, well, I remember that the title for your reading for December was Trust the Timing. I don't remember all the details of it, but, just going off that title alone and trying to remember what the reading was about, I would say this could be basically giving you a warning that what you want is nearby. The warning for you last month was Trust the Timing, and now the challenger obstacle being you. So you might want to rush things, and that's why I mean, as far as you could be getting in your own way in that regard. Plus, if you look at the energy of this card too, this could just be saying, you could just come off aggressively in this regard as well. Like if you say, all right, well, I know this is what I want, I won't settle for anything less. And, if you approach that in the wrong way, this is how you might come across to other people. And then that might, make them withdraw or, just pull back even. So that's really the first vibe that I got there. But yeah, I mean, with the trusted timing message from last month and now this month, we're going to have Mars going into Aries, which to me is going to energize everyone. You know, I know for me personally, the Mars and Pisces energy has been a little iffy. You know, it's been a little bit difficult to get up and go, but yet everyone needs something, right? So it's like a real mix of weird energy. Everyone's going to feel a lot more up and ready to go. I mean, usually people try to do that anyway when you hit a new year, but now with Mars actually coming back home right as the year starts, that's really going to have a lot of people just ready to hit the ground running. You could be one of them, and to me, like I said, these two cards, and then this says the challenge to it. To me, the warning there is don't be your worst enemy. You know, don't get in your own way. Don't rush things. All right, in the foundation position, we have the judgment card, and I'm pretty sure you guys had this in the exact same spot last month too. So, when we talked about it last month, we were talking about it being something from the past coming back around potentially. Maybe that's just saying that whatever that is still out and up in the air right now. Maybe this is already happening for you. The person or situation has come back around. And maybe that's where, if we look at the way the Knight of Swords is looking right at it, could be saying, maybe something comes back around and your first instinct is to rush it, right? Like, okay, this opportunity that I thought wouldn't come back around again, here it is. And then you get a little overly excited and potentially mess things up in that regard. Um, I don't mean to make things sound so negative. I mean, it's just that for the Gemini card to come up in the challenge position and then such a good card to be in the main situation, and then just looking at his position, it's like, yeah, I mean, that's the main thing that I think of. If something that you've wanted for a while comes back around, um, don't push it. That's the main vibe that I'm getting there. But yeah, in general, this is just something coming back around. And then we have regeneration as your one of your oracle cards too. So to me, that also points to something coming back around. So and this regeneration could also point to energy levels too. So again, if you've been feeling like you've been held back, I mean, we did just have Mercury in retrograde, right? That's our ruler that tends to throw us out of whack a bit too. So maybe between that and then, like I said, when Mars goes into Aries right at the start of January, that might have us feeling like we're ready to up and go, just full speed ahead. But might seems like the warning here is to take your time a bit if you can. In the past position, we have the Hermit card. So this is actually a Major Arcana card for Virgo, and I'm pretty sure this was in your spread also last month, and I think it was in the near future position. So now it makes sense that it's moved to the past position just as a timeline. Just looking at it from a timeline perspective in general, that would make sense that, okay, it was in the near future for December. Coming into January, it's now in the past. Can't get it to focus for some reason, but yeah. So for this to be in the past, this could just be saying that you were in a reflective mood in the past, thinking things over. Um, with the position that it was in the last month's spread, which was here, we were saying how it looked like they were actually looking down at the judgment card, which to me was saying that maybe you were reconsidering going back to something, whether it's a person, a job, just anything from your past that came back around. You might have been considering it in the past, wherever you were considering it in December. Now, with this in the past position, it looks like you've come out of that energy one way or the other. We'll see how that plays out as we move along. And for some of you, obviously, you could also be dealing with a Virgo. Um, that's a possibility as well. Now, in the present position, we have the Queen of Wands. So this is actually a court card for Aries. And given that I was actually just talking about how Mars will be returning to Aries and the Knight of Swords being in your challenge position, this is another thing that points to me to say that once that Mars energy hits Aries, we might be feeling like ready to just hit the ground running. And it might just be saying, try to take your time in that regard. Pace yourself, because it might end up backfiring. And we have the Fool at the bottom of the deck too, which is another thing that's, I mean, these are great energies by themselves to have for a new year, you know what I mean, when everyone wants to set new goals for themselves and everything like that too. But, there just seems to be a theme here of like, all right, everything's coming, especially with that trusted timing message from the December reading. It's like, just pace yourself, you know? So that's the vibe that I'm getting there. But for some of you, obviously, you could be dealing with an Aries. It could be any fire sign as well, but this is typically the court card that represents Aries for me. And trying to think if I get any other messages with this, but yeah, I mean, really, that's it. And this, Aries is your 11th house too, so this could just be saying that you're focusing on friendships and whatnot when you get to that stage. So we'll see as we go along, though. And the near future position, we have the King of Pentacles. And this is actually the court card for Taurus. And this one's a bit more obvious. I mean, you have the bull symbols all over the throne, but, So this could also be saying that you're dealing with a Taurus, but primarily this could just be saying that, the energy shift that you could be going through. Maybe you're taking more of a focus on finances as we get into January. That's certainly a possibility. And, if we even just look at this as what's going on as far as planetary, there's not really going to be anything going on in Taurus. Nothing of note anyway in January. But as far as going back to Aries card, we do have Uranus in that house again too. So, if you combine Uranus and Mars energy, I mean, they're going to be pretty far apart within the sign of Aries in January. But you could just really light you up in a way. But the King of Pentacles energy in the near future to me says that you're going to steady out your energy. You're going to be, focused on stability and probably finances. So, as far as what this is relating to, this could be related to finances, definitely, if you're not actually dealing with a Taurus. That's the main vibe I'm getting with that. And then in the position of your influence on the situation, we have the Six of Wands. So this actually is referred to as one of the victory cards usually, and you could see why. It looks like the person's on their horse, they're being celebrated for something. So again, going back to what we were saying with the trust the timing message from the December reading, and the Nine of Cups energy here, this could just be saying that, you're being celebrated in some way, shape, or form. Could obviously be career, like we said, as far as the King of Pentacles in the near future. Could just be saying that you're celebrated on the career front, but it really could be any area of life. And, it's not a major arcana card, so it doesn't have to be a huge thing, but this is definitely a good energy to get into for New Year as well. So, and this is actually a card for Leo too. So if you think about the Leo energy, this could just be saying, again, being a bit more receptive, letting things come to you. And there's actually going to be a full moon eclipse in Leo, like at 0 degrees Leo, which is the third house for Gemini. So that's around the 20th, 21st of January. So that could light up your communication house as well, which that might be the timeline when you are actually quote unquote in the spotlight. So maybe something you say or do comes out around that time and is celebrated in some way, shape, or form. All right. In the position of the environment's influence on the situation, we have the Nine of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles. So there's a few ways that this could be playing out. This could just be saying that, maybe if you've been, laid back a little bit, enjoying yourself, because with this being the environment, that doesn't necessarily mean that these are other people. Could just, again, the position is about the environment's influence on the situation as a whole. So this could just be saying that the energies are influencing how you're going about things. And if that's the case, The Nine of Pentacles to the Eight of Pentacles could just be saying that, if you've been kicked back for a bit and enjoying yourself, whether you're just talking about being single or just, again, having some financial success and taking some time off to enjoy it. Looks like eventually that energy will shift to you putting in the work. Now, if we're talking about another person, on the other hand, could be the same concept where maybe this was someone, for example, who was playing hard to get, or maybe just not putting in a lot of effort at all in the situation, and now, the energy shifts this month and they actually start to put in the work. That could be what that's pointing to there. Um, Either way, with both these cards in the upright, they're pretty positive cards, and again, this could be a pointed to work as well, like we said, especially with the King of Pentacles in the near future. So, I mean, usually I read them in the order they come out, which is to say, okay, the 9. So you would think the 9 to the 8 is a backtrack, but not necessarily. Could just be saying that, okay, someone's coming out of that fixed energy, moving into that cardinal energy of actually putting in the work. So that's the main vibe that I got from that. And those actually are both Virgo cards too. So it is certainly possible that this whole situation has involved a Virgo for some of you. And if that's the case, like I said, it looks like they're going to come out of, maybe not putting in as much effort in the past and now actually putting in the work, which would work well with you actually being more in the vibe of being receptive and in the mood to be celebrated, or you know, trying to think of whatever word to use there. But basically, it's to say if the energy shifted, where maybe if you were the one putting most of the work in the past, and now you're at that point where you're like, you know what, I know what I bring to the table. I'm going to sit back, let things come to me. Like we said, avoid that being your own worst enemy part of the equation. The other person, they'll come out of their energy of, okay, well, someone has to move something forward here, right? And then they'll actually do so. They'll start putting in the work. So that's the vibe that I'm getting there. All right. And in the hopes or fears position, we had two cards there, and it's the Death card and the Lovers. Now, I'm pretty sure that last month you had the Death card in there too. I think it was in the challenge position, just because I remember pointing out how the Death and the Judgment card are both Scorpio energy cards for me. So for this to now be in the hopes or fears position, could be saying a few things. Maybe this whole thing was saying that maybe you've been enjoying being single for a while. If we go to the Nine of Pentacles in the environment, and now you're actually putting yourself out there to, potentially pursue a relationship. That could be what it's saying. That's the depth of you, being single, and now you hoping to move towards an actual relationship. This is the major arcana card for Gemini, though. So, on a more mundane level, this could just be saying that, maybe you haven't been feeling like yourself lately. Maybe you've been feeling out of sorts. Maybe things haven't been going exactly the way that you were hoping or planning on them going, and now, you're just hoping to just get back to basics, back to your roots this month. But either way, this is hopes or fears disposition, so it doesn't necessarily show us tangible proof of it playing out in the month, but instead it could just be something that's on your mind. And then in the outcome position, we had a few cards come out. So you have the Two of Swords, the Knight of Wands, and the Ace of Wands. So this could be you, feeling indecisive about, I think last month, for example, I think there might have been a water sign and what was the other sign? There were two knights. You had the Knight of Cups. And I'm pretty sure it was another knight as well. I can't remember. It might have actually been the Knight of Swords. So it's definitely possible that you are dealing with another air sign. And if that's the case, with these cards here, I'm leaning towards saying that you might be deciding against going with the other air sign, if it is another air sign, because for them to be showing up in a challenge position, this could just be saying that, for the Nine of Cups there and then that Ace of Cups, you might feel like they're blocking you from getting what you want, right? Maybe you view them as more of a hindrance than a help. So if that's the case, it might be that you were going with the water sign. But then what's interesting here too, though, is we have the Knight of Wands. So it's another knight thrown into the mix, and then the Ace of Wands. Um, but I mean, the Knight of Wands actually is a court card that represents Sagittarius for me. So could it be saying that yes, you are, maybe pursuing something with Sagittarius, or Sagittarius is trying to pursue something with you? It's a possibility. This could just be pointing to the fact that, again, like we said, Jupiter is now in the opposite sign of Gemini, which is Sagittarius. So this could just be saying that with Jupiter in Sagittarius, you're getting more offers for relationships to start up. That's certainly a possibility, and maybe you're like, trying to decide between those options now. But again, we have to keep in mind too, like I said, with the aces, I don't necessarily always view them as a tangible offer of something, more that it's something on someone's mind. So this could just be saying that there's a fire sign thinking about extending an offer to you, or vice versa. You are thinking about extending an offer to a fire sign. Really though, I mean, the main vibe that I'm getting here is that this is just more of an energy than an actual person. So again, someone could actually move towards you, make a move towards you, and you're trying to decide on if you want to go with that or not. And that would make sense too, especially if that's that person from the past, like we said, with the judgment card, the death card here again, all of that energy. Um, But yeah, I mean, it looks like regardless, it's going to play out well for you as far as if that's what you're dealing with, okay, making the decision. You're going to feel victorious at the end of the day anyway, with this being your influence on the situation. And then it looks like the other person, especially, like I said, if they were someone playing hard to get, and maybe that's exactly what it was, right? Maybe they've been trying other things. Maybe it's all one person, the Knight of Cups energy, the Knight of Swords energy. Maybe, oh, I'm gonna message them, right? Or oh, I'm gonna say something nice to them, and now they're actually taking action. Like, okay, well, none of that's working right now. Now I actually have to take action towards this person if I want to get anywhere with them, right? And then that would be where the nine of Pentacles energy shifts to the Eight of Pentacles. Like, okay, well, I can't be passive and just, stand there, look pretty, right? I actually have to put in the work to make this happen. So that could be what's going on there. All right, like I said, we have extra oracle card that came up for you guys, and then there's some new things that I'm gonna start this month too. So I'll show you those after we get to the oracle cards. But first oracle card we have is regeneration. There's the artwork for it. And then that's number 46, if that holds any significance for you guys. I always say the number just in case. So we'll look at the messages for that, see what they have to say. All right, it says rebirth, second chances, new opportunities. The Oracle's message. Second chances are available to you now. Whatever opportunities you thought were dead are now revived in a more authentic, stronger form. Whatever you may have perceived as a failure or loss is now being replaced by something better and more powerful growing in its place. This rebirth is assured. Step into your new life. Destiny is being fulfilled in wondrous ways. So that certainly at least seems to go with that trust the timing message from last month, as far as saying, maybe you were feeling like, oh man, there's something that I want to get off the ground that from the past, but I can't maybe. And then it's saying, okay, well now, if you handled the energy correctly, right, you stayed in that receptive, open energy, now you can celebrate the fact that, okay, what you wanted to come back around did come back around. That's the, most straightforward message there. But, and it could be, again, not at the exact same situation or the exact same person, like it says, something better. So it could just be, again, if this was a person who wasn't putting in an effort before, now they are, right? okay, then that would be an example where something better comes along, because now they're actually realizing, okay, well, what I was doing wasn't enough. I need to put in more effort on my end. Or it could just be someone better. Sometimes universally, you speak to the universe where you say, you know what, this, whatever offer this is that came along isn't good enough for me. I want something better. And that can draw better things to you. We won't focus on that too long, though, because we have other cards to get to. So the relationship message says the world is based on connections and relationships. No matter what loss has occurred in the past or even now, death and endings are only illusions. There is life after death, love after loss, and in this moment you are radiating the regenerative life force energy that makes you irresistible to love in all forms. Now is the time when you will see evidence of this new emergence. Can you feel it? Love is rising up to greet you. So it's just funny. Like when I read "Love is rising up to greet you," I just thought of the imagery here. Like it's like people, looking like they're raising up from the dead. So that kind of made me laugh in that regard. And then the death card there too. But um, again, like it's the message seems to be repeating itself. Be comfortable in your own skin. Know what you bring to the table, and let some good things come to you. I know as energetically speaking, Geminis can be very impatient. I mean, look at the Knight of Swords energy. It looks like a very fast moving energy. And, not everyone moves at the same speed you do. So however hard it may be, sometimes you just need to sit back and let things come to you. All right, the prosperity message says, what happens when it appears you failed at something? Do you see the beauty in the lesson? The understanding that arises from difficulties is like a seed that lies dormant for a time. Then, once it germinates in your subconscious, it pushes through into your awareness. It is becoming apparent that there is a new you, a new start, a more powerful version and form of what you began to plant in the garden of your imagination has surfaced. You are ripe for success. New opportunities, much better than those that came before, appear, like gifts from the gods. Now is one of those times when out of seeming loss and failure comes remarkable abundance. Do not dwell on the past because you really are experiencing a rebirth. Boom. I mean, what do we even need to add to that, right? Other than say, preach. But yeah, I mean, that message was pretty self explanatory there, too. So, sounds like you guys are in pretty good shape in January. Like I said, it looks like the only quote unquote negative card, and just because of the position in the spread, is the Gemini card. So again, try not to block your own blessings. You know what I mean? All right, let's take a look at the next card, which is exchanging gifts. There's the artwork for it, and then the number there is 27. So, technically I am recording this before Christmas, but this is a January thing, so I don't think it's talking about Christmas gifts, but let's see what the message says there. Give me a second. Okay, it says the law of giving and receiving, currency, trade offs, weighing cost, and determining value. The Oracle's message: you're entering into a productive and enriching time when all manner of opportunities are being offered to you. You have everything you need to seize them. Yet, in order to honor them, you must put in the time, exchange your experience and skills, and commit heart and soul to what you're choosing to pursue. You can do it. You have what it takes to be successful if you align with the law of giving and receiving. You must engage in a dance of give and take, push and pull, doing and being. If you let fear guide your choices, you could deplete yourself or create an imbalance. This is not a time to just do, do, do. Use your currency wisely and be mindful of the value others bring to your life. So use your currency wisely and what was that? Be mindful of the value others bring to your life. That one really kind of stuck out to me, which is to say, not spreading yourself too thin, like we said, not putting in too much effort and seeing, okay, well, that Nine of Cups energy, like we said, knowing what you bring to the table and saying, okay, well, I need a return on that investment, right? And then someone else in the environment actually putting in the work, whether it be, like I said, a job, right? Maybe you got a job offer and you didn't accept the first offer, they come back with a better one, right? A relationship where someone might have been playing hard to get, being coy, and now they actually realize, okay, I'm going to have to put in effort because this person has options. There's plenty of everyday ways that the energy could play out, but overall, I think we get the message there, right? All right. It says for the relationship message, love is an exchange of life force energy between two beings. It grows exponentially when it's reciprocated. You must give and receive in order for love to flourish and abundance to flow between you. Spirit wants you to start accepting all the blessings waiting for you, as well as offer the same gift in return. Open your heart and allow it to be filled. Let love in and let it flow out of you too. Love is truly yours today. So let love in, right? Like we said, the receptivity energy that could be with the Nine of Cups. And then if you remember, I gave that little warning about how the person looks like a little smug with their body language, with their arms crossed, right? So to me, that would say, okay, it's one thing for wait to things to come to you, but once they do, right, then maybe rather than being standoffish and cold, actually be open and accepting of that energy, right? Like the Fool there. So something to keep in mind, right? It's one thing to wait for what you want, but then when you get it, don't act like you're too cool for it, basically, right? Pretty self-explanatory message in that regard, too. The prosperity message says all your hard work and efforts, your commitment to learning, creating, and spending your time wisely pay off in ways you may not have been anticipating. The gifts of yourself, your time, your ideas, and the energy of your intentions are being reciprocated by the universe, which is sending you signs and signals, aligning synchronistic meetings and opportunities to bring you success and more. Everything is in exchange. Keep doing what you're doing. Goodwill comes back tenfold. So the goodwill comes back tenfold, right? That's where we're saying no. Since that was a prosperity message, I could just be saying, if you've been grinding, working hard, feeling like the rewards haven't been coming, with the knight, with the king, of Pentacles there, and then the Six of Wands energy, could just be saying that finally this is the month where you actually get some of that recognition. Yeah, I mean that's really all I'm getting with that one. So like I was saying as well, I have some new things that I'm going to be adding starting this month, and the first one is actually I have another oracle deck that I'm using, which is the Spirit Animal Oracle, and the card you got for that is Owl Spirit. It says you see clearly now, and there's the artwork for it, and that's number 43 if that holds any significance for you. So we'll take a look at the message from that deck as well. Alright, it says Oracle Message. Owl Spirit arrives to remind you that the wisdom within you is informed by your keen senses and the wisdom within the consciousness we all share. Even in the darkest night, the owl sees clearly and is guided by every sense it has, including the first sense of intuition. Right now, your sensitivities are turbocharged and you are receiving messages from all directions. Owl Spirit reminds you to be wise and pay attention to what's between the lines, what is invisible to the naked eye, what cannot be heard with the ears, and what others may not be able to perceive. With all your senses aroused, you have much knowledge available to you. Clarity will come as you sit with all that you are sensing, allowing your intuition to guide you in understanding the whole and not just the parts. Let your wisdom arise and be your guide as you trust the acuity of all your senses. Intuition is real and can provide the clarity you need to understand your situation right now. Your relationships, your finances, your job, whatever it is, you can see the truth clearly now. So that's a pretty cool message to add on top of that as well. I didn't think it gave a whole lot of stuff that was new, although one part of it did have me smiling because it almost made me laugh out loud, actually, because it said, where'd it go? Messages coming at you from every direction, which made me think about, you got extra cards in the spread itself. You got an extra oracle card from the other deck. So it's like, yeah, you're definitely getting a lot of messages even within this reading itself. But, I do like the fact that it said that as well, as far as, just trusting your intuition above all else. So, you know, trying to stay out of ego as well. I mean, usually ego and intuition don't work too well together, so something to think about there. And then the last thing that I'm actually doing this month is introducing a mudra card. So this is the Makara mudra, and that's the symbol there. And then I'll read a little bit of the card, but I'll also try to get it focused enough to where you guys can read it for yourselves, like maybe screenshot it or whatever. There we go. Okay. So basically, the main thing is this is to improve your memory, strengthens the kidneys, help to relieve low back pain, nourishes the hair, and restores energy reserves. So, given what we were saying about the Knight of Swords energy, don't do this too much. Maybe the last thing you need is to restore your energy, right? Maybe that was maybe you do this a little bit too much, get a little too hyped. But yeah, this was just something I thought that I'd do for you guys to, just that extra little layer. That way, if you wanted to do it, you can. Usually you have to hold these poses for at least 5 minutes. I'm not going to hold up the cards forever, but there's the actual gesture itself again, and then I'll actually put the name of it in the description, so that way you can look it up for yourselves as well. I'm sure there's YouTube videos about the pose and all kinds of posts telling you what the pose is good for and whatnot. So I'll wrap up there, guys. Like I said, I will be posting a bonus video for you. It should be, if not around the same time that this video is posted, probably within the next week after that. And if you guys want a personal reading, you can look at the About section for more info on that. And you can follow me on Instagram as well. We have a little bit more fun with tarot and astrology over there, so you can check that out. But aside from that, Happy New Year, guys, and I'll talk to you all next month. Bye.